Здравствуйте, товарищи. And you know, the women of Josephine Stalin often ask if there's a Mrs. Josephine Stalin. Well, of course there is. You're her. And you're still as perfect as the first day we met. Well, let me put on my newsman's fedora here for no apparent reason and say welcome to our 14th day of our Month of Mod celebration. And today we've got another Fallout themed mod for you, but not for the game Fallout itself. Nope, this is a mod for Hearts of Iron, but more specifically for Darkest Hour. And this mod doesn't really have a name besides the Fallout mod for Darkest Hour. And I'd heard about this mod before I started doing the Month of Mods, but I never really tried it out, but due to some fan recommendations I thought, hey, let's check it out and we'll put it on the list and see what it's like. At first, to be honest, I thought that this was such a ludicrous concept that it would never work. But much to my surprise, it actually works pretty well. So the mod takes place in North America, after the apocalypse of course. Now, I don't exactly know where in the Fallout timeline this game takes place, because I haven't played the first two games. But what I can say, at least to my own knowledge, is that this mod takes into account all of the Fallout games when it comes to setting the stage for a grand strategy game themed on the Fallout universe. Keeping in with the Hearts of Iron theme is that the Fallout mod gives you a crap ton of different nations to play as. There are over 40 different nations for you to choose from the ones which are no-brainers, like the Enclave, like the NCR, like Caesar's Legion, Caesar's Legion, to much more obscure nations to play as, such as nations of mutants, nations of ghouls, nations of spiders and robots, basic tribal societies that live in the north of Canada and Central America, and just about everything in between. Though I do think the mod creators did have to create some new nations from scratch, like for example there's now a new Canadian government, which I don't recall being in any of the other Fallout games, but like I said, I've only played New Vegas and Fallout 3. And of course, there are hundreds of new technologies for you to be able to research, which also run an incredible gambit from things such as researching windmills again, to researching full-out robotics. And there are also absurd amounts of new events based on the various different nations you're playing as. And going back to the custom nations for a second, those custom nations also have their own custom armies, which fill out with some pretty crazy things, because like I said before, mutants, spiders, robots, they're all here. Governmental structures have also had a complete overhaul to reflect the fact that we're now living in a post-apocalyptic world. Some societies try and regain that pre-war organization, efficiency, and splendor, while some societies try and forge a new path for the future, others exist in tribal states, and some others throw out structure altogether. So all in all, you've got a pretty crazy mod, which is fitting to reflect the craziness of the Fallout universe. You know, while doing this, there are definitely some mods which I wasn't able to play to the extent that I would have liked. Because research, audio recording, video capture, editing, they can all take a lot of time. And some of that can cut into the amount of time I actually get to sit down with the mod. But once this is all over, the Fallout mod for Darkest Hour is one I'm definitely going to go back to and explore a little bit more. Because in the time I was able to have with the mod, I felt like I was only able to scratch the surface. Because both Fallout and Darkest Hour are 100-hour plus games depending on how you play them. And when you smash those two together, well, let's just say there's a lot of replayability here. But at least I hope with this brief overlook, I've been able to pique your interest in this mod. While I don't feel this mod is for everyone, I think you should at least give it a try and see how you feel about it. Though if you are a Fallout fan, this is certainly a no-brainer recommendation. Because I feel like if you had played the first two games, you'd have that similar feeling to what I felt like during Hyrule Total War, where you were geeking out with all the different armies and nations and being like, oh man, I can't believe they remembered to put that into the mod. Anyway, I think I'm entering rambling territory now, so I'm gonna wrap this up. So, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Fallout mod for Darkest Hour, and join us again tomorrow for another fantastic mod. And until then, this has been Joseph's Run of Stalin. But before I go, I just want to say one thing, and that's remember that I've got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle, jingle, jangle, as I go right merrily along, jingle, jangle, and they sing, oh, ain't you glad you're single, jingle, jangle, and that song ain't so very far from wrong, jingle, jangle. Anyway, you guys, take care.